Welcome back to IEM Katowice, to the World Championship CSGO Day 2. This is B Group. I just wanted to show you a little what it was like here, where the teams are trying to qualify, because it isn't that glamorous. We are actually in a basketball court outside of the Spodek. So yes, it's not the most glamorous place to be. The teams are in these booths here, and what you can hear is the shouting, because yes, it's not glamorous, but they are playing for a place in the quarters and the semi-finals of this, which is one of the premier esports tournaments around, and this is a massive time for CSGO as well to be part of that. So they're trying to get out of here to get onto the stage, which is through there. There goes Olaf. And it is going to be a massive time because the esports stage through there is brilliant. So you can hear the teams that have just won. That is FaZe, I think, have just won their match, which means they'll be going on again. If they win enough of their matches, they'll go through there. And what you find is spending a long time in here is it's very noisy. The fact that it is basically a sports gym, when the teams win or they score a point or they win a map, then the shouts are humongous. The noise echoes off the walls, and that is what the atmosphere is like in here. It's hot, it's loud, and it's exciting. Matt, it's over to you.
I got nothing wrong with hot, loud, and exciting. Trust me on that one. We did see FaZe in the background.
Oh,
I know you know. I know you know. So does Anders, by the way, joining us on the desk. I noticed he lost the tie.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
I got bullied, sadly, and it's super upsetting. I can't believe at this day in esports there has to be like this.
well, we've, you know, just to say that we've put a complaint in, you know, with ESL, and we've asked for counseling and a seminar, and for his wage to be docked. So.
May in fact have PTSD at this point.
Talking about Moses, obviously.
Yeah, talking about Moses.
My God, how can
you know, Americans, they just gotta come in and act like they own the place. And
well, a guy wears whipped cream on his face for fun, and he comes around bullying other people.
Deceptive as well, because he's small and bald, and he does look a bit like a leprechaun, but it's mean. He's so mean. It's unbelievable.
It is insane.
It's hard to handle.
Well, what I was about to say is we did see FaZe shaking hands in the background with Tempo Storm, which does indicate, based on what we saw on the scoreboard, there was 18-16, I think you said?
19-16 final score.
So it is the final score. They did win it, so FaZe are still 2-0. Tempo Storm that close to picking up their second win in the group, which would have thrown things in complete tatters. FaZe now have to sit back down, reset, and jump straight into the next game, though. They play up against EnVyUs, who desperately need a win.
That, by the way, is a team to go, that's a match to go and watch on a VOD if you haven't, because that was a very, very exciting match. But yeah, FaZe making it through, and now they're going to be playing Envy.
What I'm glad to see is that this is what I was wondering, right? You know, what kind of level would Rain be able to hit? Jacob, we expect him to drop 30 bombs. That's kind of what he does. It's his shtick, his thing, you know. But for Rain to come in, we could see that when he actually had to take over that in-game calling role, it had a huge impact on his game. He was no longer that clutch master that, you know, really is there to lock down the rounds for people, and he was no longer just, you know, coming in and just, you know, dropping 30 bombs himself, which is something that he did. He's basically, along with Jacob, they're like the top two talent out of Norway. Those guys are monsters. So I'm really glad to see that it's the two of them actually sitting at the top of the scoreboard. Nearly both of them with 30 bombs. I think Jacob got to it, Rain was close, but like the two of them are just wrecking house right now, and that's the kind of Rain that I really wanted to see. You know, not the Rain that's calling and that we're having to see, you know, this like, you know, it's not a rain, it's a drizzle, right? No. Now it's a hurricane, boys. FaZe Clan are here to play, and they're going up against Envy, who have got their backs to the wall 0-2? 0-2?
Yeah,
I feel like there's a joke to make with Rain and Tempo Storm in there somewhere, too.
You've got to remember to represent as well, you know.
Oh,
that's right. Wait, hold on. I'm doing it again. Yeah. FaZe up.
We got this?
You got it, boys. We got it, boys!
And we're officially hated by everyone on Reddit at this point. Well done, guys. Way to go.
No, it's amazing.
You know, it's amazing.
So good.
Actually, I'll do like 2 of them, right? You know, we'll just...
We need to get Machine in here, because he just got back from hosting COD. He probably knows how to do that perfectly, right? Like, he's a big COD boy.
Don't.
He's gonna join.
Says the guy who comes from COD.
Don't throw me back. I left. I got out when I was still healthy,
still innocent,
not infested with some sort of disease. But let's.
The thing is, I don't know if
they have shots for
that. I don't think he has the coordination to pull this off. I mean, I think it's too much.
It probably is. It probably is. He only knows how to use his thumbs on a controller, right? He can't use the rest of his hands.
There we go.
But
what can you do without auto aim, right?
Get all the stereotypes in. Doritos, anyone?
Hold on. I got a battle to do.
There is a bowl of Doritos in the green room. No one's touched. I feel like Machine's just going to devour them. Let's look at the standings, because this will get us back on track, hopefully, if nothing else will. So 2-0 Astralis, 2-0 FaZe. They've yet to play each other, but that is a pretty indicative scoreline in the fact that FaZe are now ahead of both EnVyUs and Virtus Pro, which we know are 2 of the top 3 teams in this group, arguably. So the fact that Envy sits 0-2, I mean, this is really desperate for them to win this game.
It's upsetting.
I mean, what's weird is I think when Astralis play Envy, you got the sense that, all right, Astralis are really good and maybe Envy a bit cold. Then VP also beat EnVy, then you get a sense that, well, actually, maybe VP were called against Astralis, but then they were sort of warmed up against EnVy, and EnVy are just struggling in general. So I did like the picture changes every time EnVy play a new team.
What does that say about Astralis, though? Because Astralis then would have got like 2 matches against, cold teams, right?
So, the
right. But didn't Thorin actually say that with this format,
yeah,
that's actually something to bring up here, and he recently did, yesterday basically in a tweet, I guess, is that he says the teams that get out first in this format, they've like never actually gone on to win the thing.
They've never even made the finals.
Yeah.
They've never even made the finals. This was the common format for all of the IEM 1.6s.
And so, yeah, Thorin basically, digging down into the history books, into the archives, but he's bringing that little tidbit up. So, I don't know, should we be worried about Luminosity? Here I am thinking this is it, their moment.
No.
Their moment to shine.
I'm not worried.
No?
No.
Well, guys, we will get into this whole diving into the game and whatnot and the whole semantics of it. But first, let's hear from Michael Lilly, because this is the first time we'll see FaZe on the mainstream.
From the beginning, we didn't think about just creating a team just to be all-stars. We wanted to create a team that could conquer the world and win tournaments and everything. So right now, I can feel that we don't have too much pressure on us. The only pressure we have is on ourselves. Our new organization is pretty comfortable with us. They feel good with us. So when Robin joined us, we went to a boot camp for 2 weeks in Oslo. It was very needed. Before bringing him to the lineup, we were more like headless chickens running around on the field trying to pretend to be some kinds of rock stars. But he put a little bit of perspective into the game when it comes to the tactical part of it, and I just wanted to be a really good event. I just wanted to be cool with all the fans, with the hype, with the pressure. So that's probably the most important thing I want to take with me.
Well, to feel the hype and the stadium in tomorrow's edition of the IEM Katowice tournament, all they would really need to do here, not guarantee, but win this game, and they'll be in pretty much prime position to move forward.
Did somebody... Okay, there's 2 options here, I think. Somebody took Michael Lilly's candy away, or he just got off the phone with his mom and his puppy's dead.
Whoa, don't go there. You know I'm a dog lover.
I was going to say.
I'm sorry, Said. I'm sorry. I had to do it to you, bro. I had to do it to you. But where's the preppy, the peppy, upbeat Michael Lilly that we used to see, the kidder? Yeah, exactly. Michael Lilly.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the joker of the team. He likes to be in the spotlight. He likes to handle the interviews. He's always upbeat and making jokes and having a good time. Is this the new Michael Lilly? Is this what's happened? Now that they're trying to take things a bit more seriously here, they're on that new regime.
Do we know when that interview was conducted? It could have been 3 in the morning.
Possible.
They woke him up at the hotel. They're like, we got to do an interview, Michael.
Got to do this interview right now. But he's not NA, bro. Jet lag.
Yeah, not a thing. Is that something? Let's pretend that is a storyline, that they are trying to take this more seriously. They are trying to neuter that a little bit. Isn't that something that this team has personality? Is how they always played though too. You look at the players on this team, they always play with that flair, that confidence. Is that something that could potentially hurt them if they start trying to change themselves too much?
I think the problem is, I think you can only play with that flair and confidence as long as you're playing for low stakes. I think once you get into a high stakes game, you want to hit consistently semis and finals. You do need I think a lot of professionalism, otherwise it's not going to work. And I think I like the approach that FaZe has taken to this and saying, all right, we're going to give you all the resources, but we want to make you actual professional players, not just of skill, but of sort of a mentality of sort of willpower and work ethic. I think that's a good approach.
Interesting. And you mentioned just before we went into the interview, at the offset of the last segment as well, Rain and having Ruben there. Now, Rain was nuts during the Cluj run that they had all the way to the semifinals, almost to the finals. Let's not forget, a few rounds away from beating EnVy. Now that he's got this freedom, is he the guy that we have to look to more so than the AZ that's kind of been fragging for them lately?
No, it's all about Jacob and AZ for me. Rain, you only really want Rain. Rain is one of the best clutch players in the game, hands down, flat out. He always seems to be able to come through in the clutch for his team. It's really crazy once he gets into that 1vx sort of scenario. He's very similar to Zipnix, the mind games. He's just able to just, basically exploit the situation to get a win somehow. He's crazy in that sort of scenario. I want the heavy hitters, which are Jacob and AZ basically, who just be going in there and rocking face. Jacob clearly showed up in this game, in this last game versus Tempo Storm. And Jacob is also another crazy story when it comes to CSGO, because this guy's just rocketed out of nowhere in Norway. He started out last year, I think Pantamera was his first international showing, and I got to talk to him, and he's super nervous, right? He's like, oh, okay, I'm just hoping I play well, guys, like that sort of thing. And then he just rolls over everybody and starts dropping 30 bombs against the best teams in the world. You're just like, where did this kid come from? And then he goes on to G2, he shows up into this roster, and ever since then, it's just been this dominance from Jacob. Like, he's just consistently good. They can always count on him to get headshots. So, to me, it's like AZ and Jacob, these two rising stars, basically, for this team. As of course, I mean, Anders, if you want to talk about, the Danish, I mean, I don't want to call him youngster, he's growing up. I mean, I think he's like 19.
He's getting a haircut as well, apparently.
Yeah,
He's getting a haircut apparently as well.
Talked about the
which is
things are happening.
all the L'Oreal jokes are gone.
Yeah.
How could he do this to us?
I'm glad he got a haircut. I feel like it was about time. I think it was actually like maybe a couple of months, 3-4 months overtime for some reason. I think it was in place.
I disagree.
I've got some
Luscious
interesting
locks.
information though.
Go.
Map is going to be trained.
All right, then.
EnVyUs
Oh,
were deadly
buddy.
slow. So,
This is Rain's map, man. Jacob and Rain, they wreck people on this
I
map.
love how excited you are already. I was going to say, though, EnVyUs were deadly slow this morning on it. And
Yeah.
we also saw a huge lack of entry kills from both Kiyoshima and Apex. NBK's kind of taken over Kiyo's role in that sense. But even he was slow to get started.
Yeah, I mean, I think hesitation and sort of 1v1 fights were the two things that really wrecked it for Envy when they were playing against Charlotte earlier. So they're going to have to change that. They wanted to go quick, and you can tell that they had the plan to do it. But once it came to the actual engagement, it was one person after another taking a fight alone, and no sort of real team commitment. That doesn't work.
I'm really curious to see, because we recently saw them play in the Pro League, the ESL Pro League on Train versus Virtus Pro, and one player that actually stood out for me was Fox. So all the Portuguese fans out there, be sure to watch Fox. It seems like on Train, if he gets that AWP, he's very comfortable with it. He likes to play around alley, and he likes to really lock down that portion of the map with it. Granted, it was online, not LAN, different scenario, but at least we had a solid performance out of Fox recently to go off of, and on Train he did look very comfortable. So not only do you have the Norwegians, and well, basically the Scandinavians, apart from Fox, who comes from the south. I mean, everybody seems to be hitting shots on this map here for this team. So if Envy don't show up, guns blazing, which they can do. They are basically like the team that is always, lose the first map in a best of 3, come back and win the best of 3. So, they're down, but they're definitely not out. It's just we're going to have to see a really high level out of them here.
What of Michaelele, though? Because remember, Fox was kind of the brunt of the jokes for a while. He wasn't the guy hitting shots.
Sure.
He was the support player. They swapped. I think Fox has hit an excellent form since they've done so, but Michaelele is kind of now the guy that's in that. It's just as this fifth guy. It seems never to be utilized.
Michaelele is a struggle, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem for me in the past is I don't mind a support type Michaelele. You say support and it sounds like you're sort of almost talking down to people.
Sure.
That's like a bad thing.
Look at Zipnix.
Yeah, Zipnix is
Get wrecked.
He's even like dug his way out of the support role, I want to say at this point. Like, they're actually favoring him. But I just think the problem for me with Michaelele doing that in the past would have always been that I don't think his ego would have been suited for it. If he's calmed down a bit and if they've had a team discussion, then Michaelele says, well, okay, if I'm not hitting AWP shots, I'll do some supporting in that. So why not? I mean,
to me, it's just his style of game, and it's so hard once you've kind of like set yourself up in this role to then change, right? There are very few players who are actually capable of this, and it's the players who have a lot of experience, I guess, like
I think
Forrest, Neo more
true,
so,
but
Taz more so.
I think it's even more true that there are very few people who even ever want to try. I think
there's that
people
too.
just don't even try it. They just say, well,
Is it fear of failure? Like you get good at one thing and you don't want to relearn another skill?
It's incredibly difficult to do that, though. That's the thing. I think that's what sets people off.
I think also, if you specifically looking at Michaelele, his sort of claim to fame has been that he's always been the star player of whatever like weird Swedish team he's been in, and that's actually how a lot of people make their careers. You get into a team, you're the star player, and then because when someone else goes out of the team above you, they look at you and they say, well, he's the star player of the team, let's pick him up, and you keep going like that. It sounds bad. We used to call it clan jumping. That was like the worst thing you can actually call someone. Clan hopper or something. That would be like a sort of derogatory term. Yeah, that would be bad. Because you say clan jumping all the time, but because Global Offensive is so competitive now, if you want to make a big name for yourself, you gotta show something. So I mean, I'm not saying that that's like a bad thing, but I think maybe now that he's there, now he's made it, Michaelele, he has to maybe think about it differently.
It's interesting too, because once you make it, quote unquote, there's a lot more pressure, a lot more scrutiny as well. So you're scared to try new things. We are pretty much ready to go into it. Let's get predictions from either of you. For the record, by the way, Yanko finally got one wrong last game, so there's no pressure.
I'm so scared about this one as well.
True. I'm scared about this one as well, though. But
all right, let's see. I want to see if we're the same. Do the room on fire guys agree?
Are we going to do like 1, 2, 3 and then say the 6? Because otherwise
let's
we'll
do it. I like that idea.
Give me the countdown.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Envy.
FaZe.
Oh, we got a difference.
Buddy.
We got
I'm calling
difference.
Envy. I don't think that Envy. I think we just spent a lot of time bigging up FaZe, but I think that Envy can actually take it to him and win this map.
Well, it would be very crucial that they do. They are now 0-2, and
You actually-
0-3. Yeah, he did the FaZe logo. I saw that. But let's get into the game. It's going to be Moses and Lauren bringing you the action one more time.
You don't actually believe that they're going to win.
Thank you, guys. And of course, I'm joined by the lucky charm, the leprechaun himself, Moses.
Here's the thing that, like, Anders is hitting this really well.
Are we going just straight into, like, the retort here?
He's actually, like, he's a little bit of a mogwai. Like, you see him, like, come in the morning and he's all disheveled, you know, can't get wet, and here else he turns into this big monster, snacking throughout the day. He can't eat after midnight. And this is the thing about him. And then you got Semler up there.
Okay, so we got a double shot.
Semler's North American when it suits him. He's Swedish when it suits him. He's French when it
Don't
suits
even
him.
look at me when you're talking. Just look at them.
You see what I've done, Semler? I've taken your fancy suits. I've turned them back on you. Get out of here.
We good?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right, cool. Let's start talking about the game then, because we do have FaZe going up against Envy. We already saw Envy once on this map today. It didn't go so perfectly.
Yeah.
Semler's losing it over there, and this is ready for like the return shots.
I just ruined like his little 2-month suit baby. He's so sad right now.
He doesn't look all that sad. He looks all right. He's not in tears just yet. Anyway, let's start talking about this matchup because this is a good head-to-head, and actually split the desk finally, which has been a bit of a rarity throughout the day. It's generally been like a pretty decisive call. Where's your call on this?
This is one of those maps. Like here's what's crazy about this, and I think this might be a trap that maybe Semler lured into because he spent so much time talking up FaZe. This was the map that FaZe like had a couple big upsets over Virtus Pro, and not like the recent Virtus Pro is when they were like bosses on this map, and they had those upsets over him on this, and they look really impressive on it. But I think Semler, and it's like an easy trap to fall into where Envy has just gone 0-2. You don't expect them to be able to lose 3 maps in a row. But I definitely give this map over towards FaZe, especially after we saw Envy on it earlier. They didn't even like, they weren't really fragging that well, obviously, but even tactically, it didn't look like anything special they had prepared, and it was just a little bit lifeless. And now this is 2 matches in a row where they've started out incredibly slow.
Yeah, I was hoping for a bounce back into that game against Virtus Pro, right? It was like you'd kind of expect maybe a little bit of a swing around, right? But just didn't happen, and still they were a little lackluster individually. MBK, sure, found a little bit of something to start working. Why are you grinning? It was just...
I'm excited for this matchup.
I don't know. Like, I don't trust you anymore. Like, after today, like, there's no trust here. But
you're safe for
like,
now.
For now.
For now.
Oh, thank you, kind leprechaun, for being so gracious with
your
mercy.
Careful, Lord.
Please, I can play out the sexism card and sit there with it. It's all I have. It's just on my like, little trump card. It's like, bam. I wanted to follow that up with the normal phrase that does go after it. But yeah, Envy individually, kind of questionable, very slow against the game of Virtus Pro. Eventually got mowed down, eventually got run over. Again, started to look a little bit better into the later stages, but it just never seemed to come through all the way.
Yeah, they look good after like the first 7 or 8 matches or rounds of both of these matches, which is, you know, obviously terrible. It's not ideal whatsoever. NBK was really the only one who was fragging for like the first half of that match against Virtus Pro. He's going to need help, and that comes down to like Apex, Kiyoshima, the other 2 big guys for Envy, and on this map, 7 rounds in against Astralis, they had 0 kills between them. So tough situation for them to be in, but it is that kind of like, do we really expect Envy to lose 3 in a row? That's like the only like benefit I really have to pick Envy in this match. I'm not going to, by the way. I'm going to go with FaZe.
I'm with you. I think this map is extremely punishing for teams that can't get going well. I think it's side dependent. Actually, no, screw it. Not even side dependent. If you don't get a good start to this, or at least a consistent start to what you mentally expect, Envy are going to be, once again, up that creek without a paddle. But it will be seeming like we are getting ready to go into this one. Teams are prepared, and Envy are going to be facing a bit of a tricky situation, let's say. They have it all on the line here in FaZe. Just about picking up the victory then. Kenny's had enough. He doesn't want this already. He's like, I'm not ready.
Didn't like those spawns.
The quick change up. Oh no, we disconnected, guys. Bad spawn. Okay, so it does seem as though they did just have like an appalling thing. No, they had Kevlar. No Kevlar. There we go.
It happens.
It happens. Even to the best of us.
Well, you know, it's early on in the match, so obviously Envy's going to drop the ball a little bit just right into the pistol round. That's like kind of what we've come to expect. Hopefully they get things situated this time. They're going to get this restart going.
I think we just need to get the stream through. They kind of screwed everything up, right? They're like, streamers, can you please be ready? We are ready. We messed it up, Kenny.
One other big thing that we can talk about here is FaZe just came out of an overtime match against Tempo Storm. They haven't really had a break, you know, between these matches. This has been like, oh, you just won an overtime. Congratulations.
Jump.
You have 3 minutes and then rejoin the server.
Well, there's good and negative to that, right? There's the benefit of a good game. I guess good game is a questionable term, but you come into it and you're warmed up, you're ready, you've got everything kind of as you need it, but then maybe you do need that 5 minutes to step outside and chill out. You know what I mean? It's that up and down. Now, EnVyUs just had time to stew on what's just happened. You know, would you rather be in their shoes right now? Who knows? I think we're going to find out pretty soon how they kind of bound back from both sides here.
Yeah, and then, I mean, that's the thing, right? After 2 losses from EnVy, yeah, you definitely want to have as much time as possible, kind of like chill, you know, recenter your thoughts, talk something over, figure out your map veto, like, you know, just talk amongst each other and just feel supremely confident in what kind of game plan you're going to come out with here. And they've had that time, so they gotta sit back, watch FaZe lose. And you can kind of see there's no smiles on this EnVy team. They just know that this is such an important matchup for them. Them to go down 0-3 would just be a disaster.
Yeah, EnVy actually left Cash in right until the end. They were the ones to take out Dust2, Inferno, and Mirage. FaZe taking out Overpass, Cobble, and then Cash was the final one taken away. And of course that does leave us with Trainin, the knife just going down there. FaZe hot off the last server almost, and I guess straight back into this one. So we're gonna have to see if they can get themselves into the right place at the right time, nice and quickly here. And EnVy have a lot to prove. This is a point, isn't it? It's like you just don't expect these guys to go 0-3 in group stages.
Yeah, right, but I think they are. I mean, FaZe is really strong on this map. Yeah, this is a really tough spot to be in. So EnVy, they're going to have just a monster performance, I think, out of someone. They're going to have, you know, much like Taz did for Virtus Pro, where he kind of led the way, set the tone for Virtus Pro early in their last match. They need to have one of their stars do the same thing, come into this match and really just kind of lead from the front and help them win some of these early rounds.
So, ladies and gents, we are live into this one. This is a huge matchup for EnVy. If this one goes south, it's not looking good for the group. Sorry, it looks incredible for us, at least for a very close group, but look at what we've got coming this way. Kenny and Keo going to deal with the full force of FaZe in just a couple of seconds, and Kenny has the perfect lineup here. He's going to find AZ pretty swiftly, but instantly, look at Makalele bounding down. It doesn't matter. Kenny's still alive. How was he alive for so long? Now they know the plan, and what the hell was that? Yeah, that was disaster for FaZe, because the full rotation is in. They can't even take advantage of that kill just because he lived for so long. Incredible, and then really nice shot, that falling shot onto Makalele. I mean, that's beautifully done, but it's really the time he bought that's gonna make this such an effective play from him, because now, you know, they can split the defense 2-2. FaZe, they have one Molotov. They don't have a smoke to get down the lower ramp, so they're hoping Fox he's just gonna check for some kind of flanker, see if he can clear something out, maybe make a little bit of a presence. You can't expect him to win too many fights at this range, especially now he's spotted up 2 opponents outside, so now all they have left is just to hit this bomb site. And this is what they've got. The Molly's going to have to come down with Rain, I can imagine. He's currently the one with the bomb as well, and they're not going to seemingly switch that out. So the Molly's not in the usual place. That was picked up, of course, off of one of the previous teammates, but here we go. Happy's going to spot out at least 2 of them, knowing that the third's pretty later behind as Fox was over by the other side. Happy's found Jacob pretty swiftly as Rain now has to take the fight, and Keo's there. And that start from Kenny S just sets it up perfectly for EnVy to close it down.
Yeah, that's sick. And yeah, they had everything on their side. Once Kenny does fall, despite losing box hauls, they know all the plans. They can play far back with those USPs, and I mean, without a smoke, FaZe just kind of gets picked off one by one. So investment into this round. They have 4 Tech 9s, 1 smoke on Rain. They have a deagle on Makalele, so they're going to have to rely on being aggressive down these train alleys. The only way that this can really kind of crumble for EnVy is if they're not peeking, if they're not getting this information that the terrorists are pushing up along the trains.
Spraying in. Nothing coming his way early. So this is looking like a bit of a pinch towards A at the moment. The bomb's still not committed anywhere, and it's pretty early in the day, as Makalele does receive a nice chunk of damage. And at the moment, FaZe looking for options, looking for opportunities, and there's going to be hopefully little provided by EnVy for their sakes.
No pressure from FaZe, except for Makalele. He did take that little bit of a fight, but they don't really seem to have a plan of where they want to go with this, and it's tough to kind of figure out with only 1 smoke to work with. You can't really execute anything, so you're hoping for some kind of a pickoff, some kind of a lucky shot from that deagle, a dink from the Tech 9s that'll allow you to swarm forward, but they're very split out across this map, so still no real idea of where they want to go. A minute left on the clock. EnVy's playing this so well, very passively, far away angles.
So Rain's just put down his smoke towards A, so they might want to work off the back of that. That's going to cut off at least one of the angles from the trainer. I think we almost had a bit of a pause coming out, but they are going to carry on. There was just a bit of an issue, I think, for a second, but they have worked through it. But while this happens, and while you may be reading chat, it's all going to come through from Ivy, and it's Fox and AZ to get the kill so far. It's allowed Rain to come out, but not that far, and there we go. Happy and Kenny keep hold of the round. They keep the rifles in the game, at least to some degree. and they deal with the threat.
Yeah, that was almost a little bit dangerous. If that player who was up in the tower got picked off, that all of a sudden could have been a really nice situation for FaZe to be in. But you can see that even just one kill allows more progress from the Terrace team along the trains. So now FaZe, without getting any kind of a bomb plant, without having too much success and damaging the economy. Look at Envy as well. NBK and Apex are just going to be on pistols this round. So want to build up a little bit of money, trusting in Kenny, Happy, and Keo to get the kills, with their weaponry, with the SMG and the 2 rifles. And Apex has everyone right above him.
Keo's going to get the spot on this. They could have a lovely little move between the two of them if they don't expect it. Keo does the damage, but can he make it away alive? 25 seconds. If he buys time, it's great, but no! They actually lose out, and Michael found Apex as well. This is unbelievable. Oh my word, Michael going absolutely wild. Rain sacrifices himself to the gods, but now down to a 4v2. They've got 2 rifles. Hopefully they can do something with it until NBK through the smoke just finds 2 comfortably and brings it back to a 2v2.
What a weird situation. FaZe somehow comes out on top, and that's when it gets really dangerous because the pistols are out. Happy's going to win that battle, so it's just down to AZ. He does have an M4. There's 1 smoke on Happy. There's no kits, though, so if AZ can isolate a 1v1 here, and NBK is very, very low, he's going to tap the bomb. Smoke goes down. Now they've spotted him out. He's going to spam the smoke. He thinks maybe he's on it, and he runs out of bullets, so Happy's going to clean him out. 3-0 for Envy, but that round was a little bit suspect.
Michael with that pistol work just coming out. That was ridiculous. He found the first. That was Apex, if I'm not mistaken, kind of waiting around the bottom of Pop. Yep. Made his way up, and there was Michael waiting a little bit further back. Fair enough, but then the follow-on was ridiculous. But this, it could have been so much worse for them.
Yeah, this second kill through the smoke. Even if he doesn't get that one, all of a sudden it's a really, really tough situation to be in.
But it does mean at least a decent-ish, buy will be coming out for FaZe here.
That was the gamble, though, wasn't it? With the 2 pistols, with not upgrading into that round whatsoever, they were just trusting that everyone else was going to get the kills, and they didn't. So those kills by NBK were actually huge. And now, fast play towards the outside.
But only 2 of them. Fox and Jacob have the bomb. They're not joining into this sort of mayhem that's coming out from FaZe. They're just going to run in and die. NBK makes light work of them, and now they're going to be going, okay, where's the rest? Keo, get ready, because there's something wrong here. A is completely and utterly abandoned by FaZe, and they are out on the site. Not going to get the kill either. Keo goes down. It's Happy to come in towards Fox. Now it's AZ and Jacob to get the job done, and it's not going to happen so far as Jacob is the last man standing in this 1v4. Does work his way forward, at least catches out 1, spots out Apex. Can't quite get the clean shot he needs, and there's NBK to once again deliver. And NBK already doing some big work here with Happy.
Those 2 kills outside were crucial, because that was going to be a fake towards the inner bomb site for FaZe. So if he doesn't get those, if they're able to find some success and just force Keo to even just start cheating over, which he actually did. He actually was starting to cheat up towards Sidewalk until those 2 kills come in. So massive information gained by NBK because they had no more pressure after those 2 kills. So then Keo can resituate himself in a better spot. Your teammates can start rotating over, and FaZe is just getting shut out here.
AB Semler knew all along. That was it. Just, had faith. At least in the early rounds. But this is a different thing for Envy, because they've been actually struggling in the early phases of this game, at least in the last couple of matchups. So maybe just taking a little bit of a second to kind of discuss things through and get their heads back where they need to be. 4 rounds back to back, at least it is a CT side here for Envy, of course, so not the biggest thing in the world just yet.
And this was what they made a little bit of that comeback on the Astral side, and their CT side looked good. They just didn't have enough mistakes to give up. They didn't really have a lot of time to utilize it, because Astralis was, with a big first half, was able to just kind of close that match out. But this CT side from Envy earlier today did look strong, so working on getting a big lead here. Kenny has the op out already, and once again, it's some Deagles, some Tech 9s, but there's no utility. So they're going to have to get a really nice pick off of 1 Deag with these Deagles to kind of open things up.
Well, last time, Michael did it with the Glock, so maybe.
Yeah, right.
Maybe this is just a simple one. This is in the bag.
That was also Keo getting a little over-aggressive, and this time Rain's just going to get dropped.
Yeah, sack of spuds. And there you go, Happy's having a whale of a time. Joined in. There you go, Michael at least going to make it interesting. But switching up to the Tech 9 gets no luck, and there we go. 1 kill given away, but not too much. Envy keep them as far back as possible. Bomb doesn't get even a step towards the site, and 5-0. Nice and clean. Economy building up well as well. You've got 7.6 and 6.2 between NBK and Kenny. And on the other side of things, we do have the AWP coming out for Fox.
He's going to have a big battle ahead of him against Kenny S outside. Also, all the utility that's built up on this CT team. Actually, it's going to be AZ who's going out towards Ivy all alone. Being a little bit passive, watching for a push-up. Fox wanted to go for a pick towards the lower ramp. A common position where sometimes you'll see the defender kind of just backpedaling, you know, back and forth, just trying to spot for some information before falling back into the site. Goes for the pre-shot, but no one's there. So now it's just, where do you align yourself? Michael over towards mid, 3 members down towards ladder. And Envy is playing this very aggressively, close up to the choke points. MBK behind the electric box, Apex on top of the first train. They're trying to ensure that FaZe can gain no ground in this outer train yard.
FaZe not getting much information either. Happy's kind of dancing in between, but he has been pretty much pulled himself over towards the A site. Rain normally a bit of a monster on this one, but you're already seeing that aggression paying off here. You see the first kills coming in already. Rain goes down again, and this is not the start you'd be wanting. AZ's falling back, trying to help out the rest, keeping Kenny busy, but Apex pushes up again, has his way with FaZe, and look at this crossfire paying off so well as Jacob, excuse me, will be the one doing a little bit of work here, but not enough to really do much into this round. It's AZ left in a 1v4 here, and all the players are on the right side of things here, and he doesn't get the shot onto the second. Happy makes the most of it after he did take down one, but great stuff from Apex then.
Yeah, suffocating defense from Envy. They get those opening 2 kills. Apex with a really nice timing on his peak from the top of train, and then NBK there to also swing out and kind of bail him out of a tough spot while he's getting shot at. NBK's able to spam a bunch of damage. And FaZe, their attacks, they haven't even really been able to get anything started. You think that their last gun run where they pushed 2 up that initial alley just gets shut down by NBK. This time, they lose the first 2 kills again in the round. So Envy just crushing the idea before it even gets started. Now aggression from Envy. Kenny trying to put the hurt on, and AZ kind of senses it.
But if AZ even keeps him busy, this isn't a bad thing. As weird as it sounds, almost a sacrifice. But if he can position himself to catch a rotate, even better. As now the 4 players from FaZe are posturing themselves to hit this B side. You've got Keo here, and Happy has actually pulled himself over. So, assuming MBK finding nothing here is at least giving off the signal that maybe there's something coming this way, and here's the set piece. Smokestack go down, mollies go down, and instantly Envy try and find a position to hold in. That's Keo pulling himself a little bit closer here, watching that cross, but he takes a needless fight there. Jacob gonna make light work of him. Rain's gonna find Happy instantly, and this is a beautiful take from FaZe, just landing those shots instantly as they made their way through to the site. Jacob just leaping up, maybe not exactly what he wanted there, and now 5v3, they have the bomb down.
Yeah, beautiful entries from FaZe, but poor positioning from Envy. Caught out in the open, both of them. Keo swings really wide, Happy had nowhere to go. And FaZe, this is a really clean round out of him. So that push towards Ivy, it pretty much, it makes the rotation so incredibly long. That might be the only reason why Keo and Happy felt like they had to take fights, because they knew that support wasn't coming, that even if they bought time, it still wouldn't do much for them because their teammates were so far away. So FaZe get their first run on the board with an exclamation point. And it's a switch up now for Envy. They invest a lot of money into this round, so they're extremely low in terms of their bank. Double op setup.
Happy and Kenny give me the ones, of course, on those, but I'm looking over towards the B side of things. And I think we're going to see Happy maybe taking a bit of a shot here, joined by Apex. Apex might be a sacrifice, but he actually comes up with the goods himself. And now Happy doesn't even feel the need to go for this one. He's been holding so close as well. He's pushed up pretty darn far, but can back away now and reset the mat. The T side now have to operate at a pretty big loss already.
Yeah, 5-on-4, and Envy completely rotates away from that inner bomb site. That was a 3-man push towards inner, and they get that kill. That's exactly what they wanted, and they don't even pressure any further to give more up. They give the equalizer back. So they have a huge advantage in this defense, and once again, aggressive play in the outer train yard. NBK, this time no one's on top of the train, but he's right behind it. He's got a teammate as well positioned near E-Box. It's going to be Apex, just spotting for anyone to be in ladder room. And Kenny, once again, with that AWP, he's pushed out towards Ivy. He's just holding the angle. So this defense is sitting pretty right now. They feel like they don't even have to move. They still have 3 smokes to utilize as well.
All right, FaZe. What can you do now then? You've got 50 seconds. It looks like it's going to be an A hit, but they're doing nothing to clear out these aggressive plays until then. Finally, Fox lands the shot, but there's still Apex, and he's still being a nuisance, and it's Fox. He's the only one who's been doing anything thus far, at least into this round. 2 kills, imperative ones at that. But now look at it, instantly, Envy holding great angles here. He needs to back away from that, but Keo now locked off. FaZe trying to find at least another option. Bring it down to a 2v2 maybe. Michael give me the one pushing through right into the eyes of Kenny here. Flash comes out, Kenny's aware of it, but he can do nothing about it. Michael making it count when it matters. Now, 2v2. Fox, Michael to do the job, and it's Michael with a stunner, but he gets pinned up and down by Happy, and now 1v1. Happy against Fox. 2 AWPs. Going head to head. Happy smokes out the bomb, looking for this, but Fox is holding this. Happy's gonna have to land a stunning shot, but he can't do it. Fox putting in the heavy lifting there, and those two players dismantling Envy one by one, just showing that, okay, FaZe definitely can operate at this level, but they've just been a little bit lackluster until then.
That Molotov out towards Ivy forces Kenny to remain passive. He can't move forward. He would be burning. So that allows Mike Laley to get really up close, and that's just the worst fight for Kenny, who was double scoped in. He had to scope out. He spent too much time trying to adjust to the new angle. And he gets dropped, and then another good shot from Michael Laley. But finally now, that punishes the economy, because Envy switched into that double op. They spent so much money, such an investment into that round that they just lose. So 6-2, but FaZe here with a great chance to get up towards their third. They also find that pick onto Apex, so the AWP from Fox last round was huge. Michael Laley's now starting to frag as well. So FaZe coming alive here.
This is what we want to see, that little bit of brilliance that these guys can bring. And I say a little bit, that's a massive understatement. You know, call themselves once previously kind of touted as the rock stars almost, you know. And they have the ability to back it up, but you've seen them kind of maybe take a little bit more of a different approach here, maybe just a mentality switch here. Maybe they still need to have that little bit of flair to get them through these games. And we're going to see this B take coming into play. Kyo's going to be there waiting ever so patiently, nice and close by, and he does at least manage to find AZ, but will they be able to close down onto Happy so easily? Yes. It's now Fox watching that push-up, sees nothing, and time to get that bomb down.
Yeah, and he's just going to keep his eye on the flank, playing at that first train, lower ramp, and really there's not much for Kenny and BK to do. The best they could hope for is Kenny has come up the ladder, is really just to try and find some kind of a rifle to exit with, to just save into the last round, but NBK just gets cut down very quickly. And it's all on Kenny, and they're going to check this. Rain, oh, Lord, one tap onto Rain's head, but Fox trades it off.
Ridiculous stuff coming in, and FaZe dealing with it well. Not too bad, losing, you know, a little bit, but then again, you know, Kenny landing shots like this, what can you do?
Yeah, that's just like, you're not even mad. You're just like, all right, that was a pretty sick shot.
You might as well just kind of roll with it at that point. But then again, Kenny's going to have to go back in on the glass cannon, so it's only a downgrade from where they were before when they were doing that beautiful aggressive play towards A that was working very well. Now, seemingly, FaZe have got a bit of a plan in mind how to dismantle that. It's been working a little bit here, but, and again, the MBK Kenny combo pushing up by Ivy. Fox is waiting for this. The shoulder peek actually baited out, but now here comes the response. AZ comes into the matter. But there we go. Actually, Kenny not landing the shot he'd want to and has to back out of this.
That alley aggression, Envy's tried to do it 3 times now, and they finally find someone to try and punish with it, but it doesn't work. It backfires on him. Can't imagine we're going to see that too often in the rest of the half from Envy, as it really hasn't done anything. It's just extended the rotations and an inner hit. This time they lose a player. So despite being AZ being at 12 HP, they are losing out, but Kenny's just going to get re-aggressive, try and grab the angle, and actually if he peeks this and he sees no one, and if he goes all the way wide, then at least he'll have the information.
Okay. Nothing's seen, so assume something's coming pretty soon. And instantly Apex is starting to move around as well. They're both trying to respond to how this one goes. What can they assume from what Kenny saw, or what Kenny didn't see is the more...
You actually can't assume too much, because they could still be towards the mid connector. This could still be an outer hit, it could still be an inner hit, so you can see they're just splitting up the defense, covering their bases with 2 at each bomb site.
I think the plan's suddenly going to be coming through right about now. There's these 3 players waiting, had to wait for the flash, but it's going to line up Kyo perfectly to catch out Rain pushing through. But these 3 players just bunched up, and here comes the spraying from Kyo. Stunning play. Picks up 3 players from FaZe trying to make it through, but there's AZ a little late on the rotate, going to be found by Happy. And again, solid hold from Envy on the CT side.
Yeah, 4 kills from Kyo. That support at the inner bomb site was huge. He gets a 1 kill upper. His teammate smokes off that lower ramp, so all of a sudden they have to jump through it. And look at them, they're all bunched up there. They had time to get through that smoke and grab an angle on the bomb train, but they were a little bit, their attention was gathered by just some spam through the smoke. So they don't go anywhere, and Kyo gets an easy spray down.
So, round 11, 7-3. This is good for Envy. I'm still not reading into it too much just yet. We've seen that they can have kind of severe ups and downs in performance, but at the moment they are certainly putting up something that we'd more expect of their caliber. But this time, not so much aggression down Ivy. Kenny and MBK foregoing that. MBK just watching the push up of it, but this time it's Happy still over by A as well. So maybe looking into FaZe are going to run the same sort of play towards A they've done before. It has worked on occasion when generally Fox has been the one doing some big work. Michael Laley as well had to come up with some pretty impressive plays, but not quite equipped with what they'd want to be able to maybe achieve this. And with 1 minute left, they're going to have to make this one happen soonish.
Envy's putting a lot of faith in Kyo. He's all alone at that inner bomb train, or inner bomb site, and no one from Envy is really here with him. So he's waiting to feel any kind of pressure before the rotations occur. Someone could technically, just like Dupree did, just walk down the lower ramp and kind of circle around him, but a lot of faith that that's not going to happen. So big risk here on the outer site. Now finally Happy's actually rotating inner, And Kenny's going to get his eyes on middle. On top of this train, waiting for anyone to peek. Nothing happening so far, so EnVy has no intel.
Working with limited information. MBK didn't see that Fox and AZ are as close as they are. He might be caught out by this, but actually adjusts perfectly. Fox gets punished, but where's the rest of FaZe? Will AZ be left out to pretty much hang at this point? And there it is. MBK gets to be able to just pincer them down perfectly. Michael Ailey and Jacob are so far out of this one, it's going to be difficult for them to break in. Now the ball has been retrieved, but Jacob's doing some incredible work with that rifle range trying to join in, but doesn't matter. MBK again just stopping everything they're bringing through.
Yeah, NBK, Happy has 12, Keo with 10. I mean, he's had some good defense at the inner bomb site, but NBK to me is the one, you know, I questioned which one of these guys was going to step it up and get things started on the right foot for Envy, and it's been NBK. That time a triple kill with that FAMAS, he basically wins a 1-on-2 over towards Ivy with some perfect timing on a repeat. So he's done such a good job of when these attacks come in from FaZe, he's essentially, some of these double kills are eliminating half of the attack, and then there's so much less for Envy to worry about.
Now FaZe again, just on very limited pistols, Tech 9, P250, zero utility, but range just walks out. This is what you were saying before. Something that is a genuine problem here is the fact that Keo is alone a hell of a lot of the time. Now surely Envy should be able to retake this pretty cleanly. They've lost a couple on the way, but I doubt Michael Ailey.
Oh man, they should have just let him fall to his death. Why not? I know, we're getting dark places here. Let's move on. So now FaZe has now spotted that Keo's playing this inner bomb site alone very, very early on in these rounds. So I would expect either an adjustment from Envy to put 2 players there early this round, or maybe go back to that triple push aggression that they had to get that pick earlier in this half, or FaZe just to try and exploit it very, very fast paced, because we've seen a couple times, you know, even against Astralis where Keo's been caught off guard. That time, if there's rifles out for FaZe, Keo falls without a single kill.
And it'd almost be a shame for them, if you look back at it, to have used that brilliant card they worked out in just a pistol round. If they'd done this a little differently, maybe they could have actually had that 1v1. At the moment, Happy is at B. Keo's pushed up, he's going to be found instantly. That's not a massive issue as Happy is still here, and look at the rest of Envy slowly working their way up. But this is a big advantage now for FaZe.
Yeah, very curious. They did put a second player at the inner bomb, so they put Happy there, but not in a position to support or set up a crossfire whatsoever with Keo. So that was the adjustment.
Oh god.
Yeah, Happy this time is going to not work out in his favor. They've already jumped out. He's got nothing out. He falls for free. 2 easy entries for FaZe, and they're already planting the bomb at the inner train yard. This is a round that Envy is going to just have to save out of.
They just offer that B site on a platter, like, hey, I'll push up, which is fine, you know, it's a risk, right? But that second bit of timing, then he gets caught on the train on the way out. Just not how you want to see this one go down. Kenny's trying to make a mad dash to save the AWP, but MBK holding them back, at least for now. But the FaZe boys on the hunt here, at least Jacob is, and Michael Ailey was. But there we go. It looks like at least Kenny should be able to keep this AWP and MBK, depending on how he takes this one out, should be fine as well. But FaZe, I guess they did press the issue that we brought up, but maybe not in the fashion that I expected.
Yeah, it's really curious to me that Happy would go there and not, you know, push upper. Maybe you both push lower, try and get some trade kills at least. But there's no point to him being in that inner bomb site with Keo if Keo's just going to push all on his own. So he does get. I mean, both of them fall for free eventually. Yeah, with that timing. So back to the double op setup. Happy does not have any armor or any nades behind this. It's another big investment. Kenny still has a lot of money. 6,100 on him. NBK with 3,500. The 2 members who saved their weapons. But still, money's going to start running low on the CT side.
Well, you know, last time around Fox, when he had this AWP, he actually did play a really integral part. And I think it was Semler who highlighted he can be a massive factor. He was one of the bigger factors for FaZe, especially on this one. So he needs to find a little bit of something here. Maybe just even to the openers or playing that sort of role could pay off massively. But now he's got Happy on the AWP to face off against if he wants to take these fights. And Happy already adjusting well here. Keo's pushed quite far forward. It's going to be a quick hit coming out from the FaZe boys. The flash is going to come over, but the timing's a little off actually. No one going to be able to pressure down Keo. He's allowed to adjust away, do a fair bit of damage at this point. But Happy's just kind of left out like a sore thumb at this point. He's done very little into this one. And now Apex comes through. At least Happy holds the line. They know that there's no one pushed to this point. AZ's still on the site though. Trying to hold this as best he can. Fox is going to get smoked out. And this retake from Envy is looking deadly. MBK's found AZ and now it's down to Fox and Jacob to do something brilliant. They do have the molly still, so they can slow down that defuse. Apex might have to go for this.
Oh, the Molotov missed. What? It actually popped in the air, it looks like, so it's not going to be on the ground whatsoever. So, or maybe it just flat out misses on the wrong side of the train, but they think it hit, so no one peeks.
I think it went on the top of the train.
Yeah, and then Apex is just going to come in, add insult to injury, takes away the AWP on Fox.
That absolutely sucks.
Yeah, that's crushing. That's brutal for FaZe.
Don't worry, guys, we got the molly. It's okay. No, you don't. Oh, man, that really does suck.
Yeah, but nice use of smokes for Envy. They're able to block off upper ramp, they're able to block off lower ramp, and that's what makes it all the more, you know, soul-crushing that Molotov misses, because that would have at least bought them time to wait out for those smokes to subside. Now Happy's going to get this first kill. It's just a fast outside train push. And Apex already has the angle. Kenny as well, just waiting for anyone to run through. But AZ does get one, so looking a little promising until Kenny picks him out of the air. And there's no progression at this outer train yard for FaZe.
No, Jacob's stuck, AZ stuck, as is Fox. But they're still trying to fight the good fight here for the FaZe boys. But there we go, landing these shots that are actually so hard against them, but still pulling off due to that ridiculous individual skill these guys do have. Now, Kyo only has these 2 flashes. He does have a kit. Actually, his position hasn't been noted yet, so I wonder how much information he can gather here before he has to pull that trigger. Now, you got Jacob on the site, pretty close by. You got AZ as well, and there we go. Fox takes the initiative, makes a little bit of a swing out. He does get the info and does get the lineup, and a hard fought 4 round keeps this one looking pretty respectable, I guess, for FaZe. But some of those rounds, you've got to think were just not necessarily unlucky, but just a little lackluster almost.
Yeah, but it comes down, I mean, 5 rounds on your T side, they can work with this. It was that stretch during the middle portion, they got 3 rounds in a row where they were able to break the money of Envy a little bit. And then towards the end, they just couldn't do that. They couldn't string a couple together, despite Envy being actually pretty low on economy during certain stretches of the latter part of that half. FaZe not able to come up with a second round, so back's going to be a little bit against the wall early on. The big thing for FaZe is get those ops out. Get that op in Fox's hands. You need to establish your nades early on, your money to be able to buy Molotovs and smokes for all the choke points. And against a team like Envy, that's one of the ways in which they excel is I mean, it's just been repeated over and over at every analyst desk, is how good Envy are with these pistols. How often, you know, even if they're on just a half buy with Tech 9s and a Deagle, how much damage they can do with them.
How much damage can they do then? Let's see it in practice, Envy. You've got that reputation that does certainly precede you. AZ doesn't give a monkeys. You look at me like you keep expecting it to happen, but
waiting for it
keeping
now.
it together.
I thought you were going there.
It may have happened. It was very close to, but I'm keeping my stuff together.
Well, either way, Fox has been beaten up a little bit, down to 2 HP, so he's going to have to play it a little bit more passively. You can see him switch up to the back of the bomb train. Still nades, and there's the first smoke used by Apex. NBK still hasn't used his. It's going to come out just now. Fox has to fall away from that fight, and Kyo's already got an entry.
And it's so nicely choreographed till now for Envy, until they have to actually take these fights, and it's Michael finding Happy. Fox is still alive on this site. The bomb's down as well. This is unbelievable from FaZe, finding these lines of sight, finding these angles to operate it within. And now Apex, he's already been watched. And up above, it's easy to just lock it down. And it was brilliant. It was a lovely concept. Envy had it all planned out. But they didn't account for the aim that these boys bring to this matchup.
I'm assuming Michael was up in the tower. I saw him down towards underneath the ladder at the end of that round, but up in the tower, he just had some free shots, and he lands everything. Rain with a triple kill. I mean, that was sick. And that's the Rain that they were talking about on the analyst desk. This is a map that he has got some highlight clips on. It's a map he always seems to do well, but now this is the danger. There's no Deagles out on Envy, but there are 3 Tech 9s, 2 P250s, no smokes as well. So much like FaZe in their first half. Actually, look at the pressure being put on.
Yeah, he instantly got flashed and pushed off this angle, and now here comes that overwhelming presence from Envy, but it gets mowed down by the UMPs until at least Kyo lands a shot. There goes Apex as well. We're back down to a 2v1. As AZ will keep this at least looking favorable for now, as Apex will recover that P90, but not quite in the spot to use it, as I think Michael might have spotted him out then. AZ's certainly looking for it. 1 minute on the board. At least Apex has the bomb. He's going to pull off something incredible, and it's not going to happen. FaZe, it gets costly, but they do keep the rifles in this, and they lock down the round.
You could see the idea, though. He knew he had one player isolated on the bomb train, was hoping that would just be a one-on-one that he could utilize, and then just spots Michael on top of that other train, and can't really pick a target. That was the wrong target for that P90 to be zoned in at. So a little bit unfortunate. He did have the bomb, so he could have worked his way towards the inner site, but wanted to go for that battle. And now another investment. They know they've done massive damage, so they buy up into this round again. Full investment as well from
Jesus. See, everyone thought that maybe, you know, Maniac coming on board would kind of calm this side of them down a bit, but no, they're going right back into it. Why not, I guess? See what they can do. They achieved wondrous things before, and actually now with the rifles, if they actually lose on these FaZe, it could be costly. The bomb's even going down, and they're spamming away at it, but they couldn't quite catch it in time, and actually Kenny's still on the site. So they found 2 of the players. They're still 3 up. They're still playing these very close angles, but they're not able to make it count. Jacob's pretty low, and there we go. Finally someone falls, and a lovely little switch up from Happy. He can't follow on towards the shot, but Kenny in the background, he's recovered the rifle. He's not 1v2, but it's Rain to deliver again. And how many times this guy can be called out on this map, it doesn't matter. He is a performer here, especially in these clutch situations.
Yeah, but Keo and Kenny had $1,000 before that round ended. So with that plant, I mean, once again, with the 2 players down, the economy for FaZe is still going to be weak. I can imagine EnVy buying into this.
AZ's skin. He's down to 700 off the reinvestment. He doesn't actually have a gun yet. He'll be dropped out probably, but as I said, yeah, this is a bit shaky now coming out. This is weakened what they're coming up against here. And EnVy, I guess, did have a couple of rounds to play with, so why not go for it?
Well, since they've had so much success in these rounds, 3 players in each one, even the plant in the last, they're just like, all right, the economy for FaZe is so weak that if we win this round, we reset them. And actually having 4 rifles, this isn't a bad buy by any means. Just a very, very aggressive game with the economy that EnVy is playing. So at some point, if they're going to keep the pressure up, they have to win out these rounds. It's not just good enough to do the damage if you keep buying in like this.
This would be the perfect one to begin it in, let's be honest here. They need to start going for it soon. You want to get these building up for them after such a good start for once, because otherwise you could blame, oh, they just had bad starts in a couple of the games, so they weren't warmed up. This game they had a good start. Now they need to convert it into something more. So, Fox holding the angle. He's going to have this pretty much under wraps. He can buy at least enough time for anyone else to rotate over. So FaZe believing this is going to be an A hit. At least putting a lot of presence towards it, and here it comes actually. I don't know how Jacob's been allowed to get away with that. He doesn't in the end. It's Keo to find him, pushed aggressively forward. Nice little flash from Michael Ailey's going to allow him a bit of a peek, but actually Keo was turned for it, but it doesn't matter. Michael Ailey wins it out, takes a little bit of a burn, but he does get the shot in the end, and sacrificing a little bit of HP for those kills, well and truly worth it, as now Happy, your last man alive. He's got a bit of a shot at this one, considering Rain's a little low, but the other 2 shouldn't let this slip.
What a play from Michael Ailey. 2 kills there in that position, but also spinning in between them to throw that flash. That's not for the players that are running at him. It's for his teammate over towards Ivy. Slow down that hit. Allows Rain to buy him a little bit of time. So he gets this first kill onto Keo, just kind of walks right into his crosshair, and the flashbang, actually this time, this is just where he runs right through the Molotov. So, just being a beast there.
That's the scary individual ability FaZe are bringing, and this buy-up, again, the UMP on MBK, okay, fair enough, and you've got a really mixed bag.
Well, this is at least not a full investment. They're half bought out. So as this losing bonuses can build up, if they lose this round, it'll be at a full losing bonus. So they'll be able to have anything they want next round, no matter what they were able to, or with this 1,200 they have left over.
This could get real warm over by B pretty soon if AZ put that down, but nothing really indicating him to do it. He might just whack it on towards the ramp there and just get himself out of there safely, which he does, because there's always a threat of EnVy with a tech now. There's always a threat of this coming through, so play it safe, sit back a little bit further, make them work for it if they do go for this. And to be fair, Jacob's going to be waiting on that jump off as well. Happy if he does pull through. This could be a good bit of timing for him, but here comes EnVy, and there's Michael Ailey again. Gets the first. Jacob goes down now. AZ's the one has to deal with this, and he only trades it out. EnVy are making this so costly. They've even recovered a rifle off the back of it. Apex now in a great position. Does a good bit of damage. Now a 2v2.
Happy's up top, though, in box halls, and he's got the Molotov, so he's just going to stay alive. Hopefully. Michael Ailey is running up top there. He does have a smoke. He blocks himself off, but this Molotov is going to come out any second. That's going to delay it. Actually, it's not late enough. If he's sticking this defuse, it's going to be a tough situation. The fire does come out. There's the peek from Rain. They get off the bomb, so down into a 1-on-2. Happy's not prepared for him to jump through, but he wins the battle anyways. He can go through the smoke now. And Rain, he's off the bomb. He's not defusing it, so he's waiting for this peek. But Happy plays this so perfectly, and he wins such a crucial round for EnVy. Finally, they keep their foot on the gas, and they're able to win one out in the end.
God, that was a long time in the making and a little bit terrifying, but Happy, what a play. The composure to take to be able to just play that to an absolute T when you're being pushed down by Michael Ailey, who's already had a big startup in their CT side, individually having a monstrous game. Then, of course, having to deal with that 1v1 threat, even when you didn't know what's happening on that side. Really well done, really well composed. And we are going to have an AWP on Rain. I guess he was able to keep that one at least in hand.
Well, and you can see EnVy was playing a dangerous game for this entire half with all these force buys. 4 rounds in a row that the pistol round, but everything after that was all these force buys, and you could see they kept the economy in check, so now everyone else but Rain has a pistol. He's going to get that first kill, though. Keo there all alone, no one there to trade it. Now EnVy, the remaining 4 members are kind of grouping up towards the center bomb site, maybe assuming that Rain with that AWP is going to rotate back off it, and EnVy's going to go right at him.
There's still 2 players here from the CT side. FaZe on just backing out of this one, but Rain doesn't have a lineup on this. He's going to have to work pretty darn hard to find anyone at this point. He's going to at least get a peek towards MBK. Doesn't get the shot, but Kenny will. That's another player down, but these guys only have pistols. It's this guy you got to keep your eyes on. Rain just coming in heavy into this, and there we go. Apex with a lovely little spray down, but it's Kenny to keep it in check. 2 players alive. The economy is going to be so curious throughout this game. With all these force buys coming in, these close rounds, even in these sort of instances, it's deadly as hell.
Yeah, and that's a really cool call by EnVy, just going right back at FaZe, and they read it perfectly, because Rain gets that kill with the AWP, and he falls away, and they're saying, all right, They think they've stopped us at this B bomb site. They're going to adjust and go out towards the outside train yard with that AWP, and we're just going to go right where he was, where he just evacuated. It works perfectly for him. So now, yeah, it's a force-up of their own for FaZe. Fox has the AWP still, but he's no armor, and he's going to push out towards Ivy.
There's already 3 smokes in play as well for EnVy here towards A. Now, they're not working off instantly the back of it, which could be a problem, because AZ's just seeing like, guys, there's no one here, just stay on A. Like, delayed or not, it doesn't matter. They are coming through, and there we go. The spray downs come in, and the lines of sight are absolutely perfect for FaZe, and EnVy are just crumbling under the weight that they're bringing. Kenny's missing shots left, right, and center, and he certainly can't afford it now, as here comes the pinch. Down pop, and a clean pickup from AZ in the end. And there we go, a nice little upgrade in the end there as well, getting a rifle for themselves.
And no money for EnVy. So yeah, those smokes they threw out early on in that round, the 3 of them that you mentioned they had put up, they don't really matter too much when FaZe is getting kills right through them. So EnVy gets stopped cold. They do win 2 rounds, but from there the damage that was done in the previous round, it's just like the AWP and the save behind it from FaZe, forces another eco. Or another kind of, 3 members are kind of force buying into this.
Is it ever an eco?
Partially. Such a weird...
I get excited when I actually see no one buy up these days and see just like pure Glocks or just like a flash or something.
Yeah, it never really happens, does it? So you kind of have to adjust. We need to figure out some kind of terminology between casters to get all that figured out.
Because it's so
Everyone
rare.
uses something different.
Yeah. Anyway, looking at this one, this forced-ish, once upon a time maybe an eco, not quite working out for EnVy, as Kio's got himself a little bit of room to work with, but AZ's already considering that maybe a problem or an issue, and goes back in out of easy. He's got Deagle to play with. They've still got a smoke and a flash or two, so enough to play around with here, but I just don't see them able to get much step towards these sites unless the smoke goes down, you know, ideally blocks with Michael Ailey and they take the fight towards AZ. It's going to be pretty difficult considering, you know, we have hindsight and a complete map open.
Yeah, that's really nice. And AZ's actually got perfect positioning here. Keo, if he swings out wide, he's just going to get cut down, but AZ at least has the info that he's... Oh, what a game that Keo just played. Rips off the head of AZ. Now he's found his way to the bomb site. The bomb can get planted now, and he's actually going to get aggressive. He's got an AK-47 to work with. He's got armor as well. If Keo can make some magic happen here, but he's going to miss the initial shot. Michael Ailey does eventually take him down, and it should be pretty standard mop-up now for FaZe, although he doesn't realize Happy is right next to him. So NBK and him combined for another kill.
Yeah, Happy can still do some work here. He's got the rifled hand, maybe not, as he does finally get pinched down, and his NBK to get picked up. But, again, deadly stuff coming in, and a bomb plant to boot.
Does actually tag Michael Ailey there at the end, but only down to 3 HP.
Jesus.
So the question is, I mean, there was 2 players that were pretty heavily invested into that round. There was Apex and Kenny, and they're down very, very low, 2,900, 3,400. So that's the question, does EnVy keep up this trend of these buys, or are they going to let FaZe kind of get towards tie the game up? And it does look like they're just going to invest in Deagles. Armor is out on Happy, Keo as well. What utility are they going to bring into this round to play with? Just 1 flashbang on Happy. So once again, actually 5 Deagles out. So they're kind of using, I mean, obviously the 1 Deag potential is high. That's kind of like the ideal situation. But now they're also using these Deagles sort of like scouts, where if one player gets a tag onto an opponent, another player with the Deagle can clean him up in one or two more decent shots.
Yeah, it's a scary game to play against, of course, but Keo showing us exactly as to why last round, but it's Happy this time to be one of the players on the forefront. Keo has absolutely no time to operate. And a nice little shot comes out from Fox in the end. And the 2 players... What? Oh, okay.
That wasn't
I was like, no. No. All right, Happy and MBK last 2. And I'm pretty sure Rain's got a good idea that MBK is down here. He's going to put the molly down. Doesn't have anything of what MBK is selling. And again, Rain just playing the game here. Happy's not going to have much room to operate either. Michael Ailey is staring down that smoke with Jacob as well. And there we go. This should be a clean one. Happy shouldn't be able to get too much. And actually, the 2 guys that Semler was big enough at the start of this, okay, Happy, why not? Why not get 1 at least? But there we go. The 2 guys that Semler was saying do have good performances are finally starting to show up. Rain, 24 kills already this game.
Yeah, and Fox had 16, where he doesn't have like the highest volume, but he's been very impactful with his AWP. So that's good stuff. Semler apparently knows his FaZe, his FaZe clan.
FaZe. All about that FaZe up, you know, going for that FaZe life. Those YouTube jollers, just living the dream. Oh, if only. Anyway. Fox and Kenny back on the op. Kenny actually glassed Kenny in this one, and okay, we could have a little bit of an interesting battle down here by Ivy. While MBK trying to take on Fox. The pop flash going to catch Fox and push him back, but while this happens, Kenny looking for these opportunities, looking for maybe a player out of place, but look at B as well. Already FaZe getting information, pushing up. EnVy having to respond by sitting back pretty passively as well.
That's a really cool flash by NBK, because Fox was even at a little bit of an off angle, and that flash still finds him. So Fox can get re-aggressive. NBK swings out, and actually the shot misses. That's exactly what Fox wanted. NBK gets away with one there, but either way, he's forced back the pressure. That was the ultimate goal. And he's got positioning. It's Happy and Q have also taken box halls, so this at least forces Michael and AZ to both be dedicated to this B bomb site. And you can see the defense outside. Fox has got to get close up towards connector. Jacob close up underneath ladder. Still no movement from Envy. They have just under a minute, 50 seconds left in the round to decide what they want to do.
Well, they better decide pretty darn soon. They're running out of utility to work with. One more smoke, and that's on Apex. Where's he going to put this one? Maybe try and set up MBK for this. Maybe utilize the molly, who knows? Because it's going to come down to those last 30 seconds, and Kenny spots out one. He doesn't get the shot off, though. I think he might even tag someone up there. I'm not too sure, but here we go. Finally, Envy make the play, and it is a push towards the A side. They did pull a couple of players from FaZe away, but Michael, AZ, and Rain on the rotate going to try and do what they can now coming through. AZ going to be trying to guard that bomb as best he can, but it's MBK who finds him, and now Rain left in the 1v2. Nice cleanup from MBK when it matters, and 3 kills for him in such a tough spot.
Yeah, the position, the role that MBK is playing on the terrace side of this map is extremely difficult. That Ivy player, because you have to switch up what you do so frequently. Whether it's slow, whether it's aggressive and lurk, and that's very... He's actually playing that. That time he had a teammate with him, but a lot of these times, especially early on in the rounds, he's playing it very isolated, very much just the only player there. In that round, he's very, very effective with 3 kills as they come out. Happy does give him an opening to work with 1 kill as they try and take over the bomb sit, but it's MBK who really cleans up that round, so... Another buy at a FaZe, but it's a rough one. They're basically out of money. You can see the shotgun on Michael. Jacob's playing up close and middle. At another off angle. This could catch Kenny off guard if he's the first one out.
It's him and I think Apex playing at this sort of angle, so it could be interesting what they go for here. Rain's just making noise over by Ivy, but I actually quite like the aggressive play from FaZe, at least on these sort of angles, as long as they don't overextend, and that's always a fine balance to strike, because it looks like Envy are starting to build themselves up here. The pop flash will actually catch up Jacob. You can see him there, having to try and be careful, but not going to show anything. Waiting for that smoke. Like, guys, just be careful. You know, there could be someone sneaking through, but doesn't hear a thing. And again, plays patiently.
He also should have heard that boost coming in, so warns his teammates not to get anywhere near peeking, but Kio's going to get that open kill. And now Jacob, he's left in the cold. He gets dropped as well. Michael trying to watch ladder with that shotgun falls. Now it's all on Rain. He's stuck in hell as well. They know exactly where he is. You can see Apex just swings out, pre-fires the angle, and Kio still cleaning things up. 3 kills for him. This is looking like a really solid round for Envy. They lose absolutely nobody. They clean out FaZe, who's going to be forced onto, like, they have nothing in this round. That's a disaster in terms of their economy. So Envy with a really good chance at getting up towards 15, and then it's going to be a very weak buy in the next round for FaZe.
And let's be honest here, FaZe felt like dominoes. As soon as Makalele was removed, there was the complete hold for Jacob pushed up. He was completely exposed, and then piece by piece by piece, FaZe fall apart. Nicely done by Envy, even on these kind of slower pace rounds that we're seeing becoming more commonplace with these guys. But look at this, FaZe going to try and take some sort of control here, but it's MBK to wait on the other side of things with 3 players now to challenge down. He doesn't hit the shots he needs to. He's actually being pressured a little bit, but it doesn't really matter.
There it is.
There you go, he's just cleaning house.
And he's still up top. I mean, he's tied with Happy, with Kio. Kio has 21, so he's right behind him. Actually, this is a pretty solid team effort out of Envy all the way. I mean, it's 22 for NBK, and then Apex is 4th with 19. Kenny only has 14, but he really hasn't had to do too much. The rounds that they're winning on this T side aren't necessarily because of his op. Kio has started the entry. He's looked very, very good. Happy's getting some crucial mid-round impact kills.
And Kio's been a player who's been suffering some questionable performances, at least recently now. This is a good play from him coming out, and here we go. Envy setting up again. And this one is the big one for FaZe. It might have been good keeping these rounds close and keeping them competitive, but by now it's 15 to Envy. This will be the first win they get themselves in these group stages. A definitely well-needed one, and Kenny gets things off to a great start. Fox goes down, and now 5v4. The CT side need to respond accordingly. AZ's chomping at the bit to try and find out some information, but this isn't going to be easy. And there's that flash, and look at it, reading it like a book. Apex just punishing Jacob for holding that same sort of angle. Kenny's now coming to his own, and Envy just getting into the groove of things here.
Well, also, they've been throwing that pop flash for this entire half, and still FaZe seems to be playing these close-up angles that are just going to get completely ruined by it. That time, Fox gets a little out-mind game by Kenny, who in this last round is putting on a clinic. 4 kills from him to close it out for Envy, so they win their first match. A great performance out of them on Train, which they dropped earlier. They do take it away from FaZe. FaZe, sorry.
Is that just like...
FaZe clan.
Hopefully they're not too phased by that loss. Was that you for some,
I wasn't going for that at all, but
no?
I'm glad you picked up the ball when I dropped it.
I still like to call it out at least, mildly. But no, it's good to see it. Who's that? Was that KS just trying to hop over, like, putting his shoes back on?
He's so hyped.
Just so hyped. But that was a very close game, and finally we're seeing EnVy starting to maybe wake up. It does feel like waking up as well. It's not like they've, I don't know, they've been a little lackluster today, but that was finally a bit of a showing that I expected from them maybe at their first game today.
Well, this time they didn't suffer from that slow start. They got on the board quickly. They were on the CT side of train. They got out to a little bit of a lead, able to win that half out 10-5. So they didn't have to start in that hole of 0-7, 0-8, whatever it might have been. So yeah, all around just really, really good stuff as well. They had 3 players who really were leading the way for them between 22 and 21 kills. So all good things for EnVy in that game.
Yeah, and Keo being a massive performer in that, at least holding down the single B, so at least enough that allowed for the rotate to come over. Considering he could have been overrun a hell of a lot, which was a massive issue against Astralis earlier, who instantly saw this weakness and all right, well, let's exploit it. Why wouldn't we? This time he held his own for a good amount of time that Bush buys enough for the rest to come over and help him. So good stuff coming out at least from EnVy finally. So Semler, you knew what was up.
Yeah, he did. This is one of those times where he's gonna wave that French flag out on the desk. You just know it. You know it's coming out.
He can just jump between the two guys.
Yeah.
Well, he's got like three. He's got
Three.
the Swede,
It's unreal, isn't it?
Frenchman, and the American. Wow.
But yeah, I mean that's this group just keeps getting more and more interesting.
It's gone a bit closer now, hasn't it?
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely gonna be a tiebreaker before this day's over.
It's gonna be a late evening.
I was so hyped for one of those yesterday, but today with one that would be equally as sick.
It'd be awesome. You look at this group and there is so much possibility of it as well, considering VirtusPro suddenly started to look like, hey, we can actually compete, which is great. And then you've got, okay, FaZe a little up and down there, but then again, there was a very close game. EnVy starting to wake up. It's actually getting pretty close here.
Yeah, I mean, VP, these matches they have to kind of, as the day winds down, are going to be crucially important.
God only knows the pressure that's going to be on these guys, but enough from us. Let's hear from OJ, waiting down with the players.
Thank you very much, Lauren. It's been a tough day so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, those first 2 games were atrocious from our side. And yeah, getting the win against FaZe is lifting our mood up a bit, but it's not enough. We still need 2 more.
We're going to come on to that win in just a second. But one thing Lauren said, she said, it seemed like you needed to wake up. It seemed you were lackluster in the first 2 games. What was that? Is it just a slow start? You weren't finding your shots? Because you did come back in the matches. It was just really slow to get going.
Yeah, it's just when you realize you're about to lose and you're about to lose the games and get out, I guess people just start waking up. So it's more of a global thing where the team was just not there, not present on the server, not present as a team. And that's something you cannot fix easily because it's up to anyone and everyone to just get back into the game, get hyped, etc. So it was very hard. Those first 2 games were very hard.
You say it's not easy to fix, but you did fix it because you've taken a win now against FaZe, and it was a tough, hard, good win as well. What did you fix? What was working in that game that wasn't working earlier today?
Communication was much better. People were playing together. As a team, we just understood how our teammates were working and what they were doing. So that was the main factor that made us win this game, I guess. That's pretty much it. We just started playing together, getting a bit of synergy back, getting a bit of hype, starting putting some more energy into it. And we need to keep that for the last 2 games if we want to go through the groups.
And just talk me through those last 2 games. Obviously 2 teams that theoretically on paper you should beat.
Yeah, that's the exact dangerous thing because we're supposed to be better than them. But in matches where we had the upper hand, we generally give rounds away for any given reason. So it's going to be extremely hard for us to get there and to fight against them. Pretty much the same example of Fnatic playing Mousy Sports yesterday where they struggled and won in overtime. We must be extremely careful if we want to just simply go through the groups and not completely fail our first day here.
If I was going to ask you your gut feeling for EnVy fans who are watching right now and neutral fans as well, will you be still in this competition come tomorrow?
Yeah, I don't want to quit the tournament just yet. I want to experience Podek. And it just passing the group, it's like a mental thing. If you pass the groups, then anything can happen. You can beat any team. So yeah, we want to win those 2 games, and we definitely will.
And how much of a thing is it in your mind? It was something I was talking to Taz about earlier on. The fact that we are out the back, it's all booths, we're in a basketball arena and the Spodek with its beautiful court is just over there. How much does that play in your mind, knowing that you have to get out of here to get onto the big stage?
It's somehow hard. I mean, those 2 games we played first just show it. Anything can happen in those games. You can have surprises every time. You can just fail one side and never come back. And And it's just saddening knowing that if you fail, you don't go to the big stage because it's one of the biggest in the world regarding Counter-Strike. So I don't know, it's a special thing because you have no crowd, no nothing, and you just have to rely on each other in order to win. And if you start going wrong, then that's where you can just completely crumble and lose games. And that's maybe what happened in the beginning.
Well, thank you very much. A good win there. You're now on the board. So let's hand it back over to Matt. There you go. You see the pressure of knowing that the big stage is over there and could be slipping away seems to be breaking some people.
Yeah, thanks so much. Big stage almost set and ready. We do move into the arena tomorrow. I just had a glance out there. It is looking pretty spectacular, as we're EnVyUs in that game. See what I did there? Nice transition.
You say spectacular, but I mean, there still clearly were a lot of issues. I don't know what's happened to the Envy that will pull out at least once per game these really crazy piss rounds where they just come up with I feel like there were a lot of these rounds where they bought 5 deals and pretty much nothing happened. I mean, not even like close. There were some signs of that, but I think it wasn't quite enough. What they did do, it seemed to me, they went on a lot of clutches against, like a lot of 2v2s against FaZe, so that helps. I mean, obviously.
NBK kind of mentioned it when things got rough, you could really tell, because I was standing behind them the entire game, right? And unfortunately, there's a lot of noise in the player area, so it was hard for me to make out the comms. I did hear Apex calling a lot because he was sitting close to me, and he's the entry, so you kind of hope that he's actually calling out, hey, by the way, guys, there's people here. But I didn't really hear much from anybody else, and it didn't really seem like when things got tough, when they started to lose those rounds going into the second half, and it's like, oh no, FaZe, they're starting to catch up to us. I didn't really feel like there was a whole lot of conversation going on, actually, between the teams. And I'm watching Maniac, I'm watching all these guys to see, okay, who's actually going to be the one to really step up and say, okay, let's get this done, boys. It was actually Fallen, who's just like, I taught him how to say allez les bleus, and so he's just like, hold on, we'll wait for a clutch round, and then he just starts shouting it, right? So I mean, it was actually the people behind Envy who were trying to get them going, because Envy themselves seemed to be really kind of struggling to find their flow. I don't think it was until Keo got that big round, like the triple, right, where all of a sudden they were like, oh, actually, okay, hold on, we can still win this, right? Let's go, boys. And then from there on out, they just closed it. But it was looking really touch and go the entire time.
That was a really good round from Keo as well, to use that smoke to his advantage.
And this brings back memories of Pro League last year, the finals, when they were playing against Na'Vi on Dust 2. I was sitting behind them there as well, and all I wanted to do was just, wake up, like, come on, start talking to each other, start getting something going.
And I was Semler.
And I was having I know, I would love to.
I mean, you're still giving more motivation than GB James, according to Alpha Draft. So.
Oh, we had to get the shot in somewhere, right?
Somewhere.
I would love to be a team manager, but obvious conflicts of interest, it just wouldn't work. But yeah, no, it would be. That's always like the nightmares when you're standing behind a team and you know that they can calm, you know that they can get fired up, but they're just not doing it, and you can't just go behind them and just be like, come on, guys, wake up. It has to come from them somewhere. So I think Keo, that was basically like the play that started everything up.
And to be fair, much more of a team effort this time from EnVyUs. Their frag distribution ranges, I think, from 21 to 18 over all 5 players in this game, or maybe 22. Anyway, point still stands that everyone kind of had a moment. I think Kiyoshima's triple was one of the most important of the entire game, and again, he uses that smoke super well in the bottom of that ramp.
And BK playing very well as well, I think, as well. Had some really good rounds.
And BK's been playing well for them all day, though.
Rain, obviously.
Yeah, he's been the most consistent today.
Rain, obviously, on the FaZe team showing up. So yeah, I think also, conversely, a match where not all of FaZe was showing up at the same time. So I mean, that is a problem for them, obviously.
And it is. I mean, it's one thing to read frag totals and read into it in the entirety. I've got Score Esports app here. It's 26 for Rain, so he was on top. But Michael Lilly again, 13. Fox, AWP, 16. Kenny was only 18, so it's not like the op battle really came to much fruition. Again, reading into frag totals is one thing, but it just goes to show you that Rain had to step up considerably just to make it that close.
I think, in the first half when they were playing on the T side, FaZe, so many rounds that they could have won, right? So many. The rounds they did win, some of them were really good executes. Like you see them sort of stack up outside of E-bomb sign, a ton of smokes and Molotovs to the back of the bomb train. They zone out all of Envy. All they need is one entry. They get it. They win the round. Some of the rounds they win are flawless, right? And some of the ones they lose are very, very sort of tight, 2v2s. So yeah, I think on a different day. I think you're right. I mean, I think FaZe, because the pressure lasted for so long, they just couldn't handle it at the end. But I mean, yeah, I think a different day this could have been a sort of almost reverse score, just based on the first half.
Well, the crazy part is if a reverse score was the case, it would have been now 0-3 EnVyUs.
Oh, they'd be done. That's it.
Exactly. FaZe would be pretty much in a position to go through, and then it would be a battle between Virtus Pro and I guess that would be it. That would almost be, because Temple Storm, remember, Temple Storm would beat FaZe. We could have had a whole entire 4-way group tie on our hands potentially.
Yeah.
Because when I was standing behind them, I couldn't really make out the scoreboard, so I didn't know who was like really fragging apart from when I would see somebody on EnVyUs really go nuts, right? But like looking at the frag list right now as well, it's like Jacob, AZ. Jacob showed up in the game before, he didn't show up now, but AZ actually hasn't really shown up in any of the games, it seems, so far for FaZe. So I'm wondering, you know, is between him and Micah Lele, has something really shifted with Roban's addition? You know, is he really trying to get something, you know, different going on here with the team changing up positions, etc.? That can have a direct impact on a player's performance, and a player like AZ who just wrecks people, to see him in low teens, that's not what I expect at all. I expect to see him consistently hit that 20 mark. So there, again, it speaks, you know, we talked about this, certain teams are focusing on, you know, changing up their game. All teams are in evolution constantly, but like VP right now in a slump, Envy working on changing up their T side, and it seems like FaZe as well, of course, with Roban. It seems like we're still seeing that right now. Like some players really haven't figured out how to fit into the new system yet.
Well, this is a good point, because FaZe, unlike some teams, aren't necessarily methodical. They aren't strategical. We don't think of these guys as role players. We think of them as big talents who have freedom. Again, AZ was able to go down. Dennis, when he was on this team, had the freedom. Scream's always been a free player when he was on this team. You know, Jacob has the is this a Cloud9 where you're stifling someone like Shroud into a role, nothing into a role, and they can't find the balance, they can't find their skill?
Or it'll just take some time. You know, it'll just take some time and fine-tuning, basically. Seems like perhaps Rain was put right into like where he wanted because he was calling before, so he's like, actually, I'm going to just like hold on to these roles. So maybe that's what's happening. Or maybe it is just, you know, a pressure situation, right? You're playing now. You've had 2 good games to start things up, and you should be warmed up. Now you need to take on the big boys in the group. And unfortunately, it really just didn't go your way. You weren't able to close it out once you started to get the ball rolling for you in the second half, and so that can have an impact on you as well.
It's just a thought, because I mean, like you say, it is a growth period. We'll get to be determined on how it's going to weigh itself out, but it's a scary thought to think that they would neuter that much skill.
I mean, at least nobody is in like the single digits, right? Everybody's into the mid-teens, so still, it just feels like, you know, a couple little adjustments here and there, and we'll start seeing that 20 come up again. But yeah, it's clear that FaZe, you know, to be able to compete with the very top of the world right now, they still need a little bit of work.
Well, they still have a chance in this as well. They still have to go up against Virtus Pro, which we know is winnable with how Virtus Pro's been playing lately. Despite having one good game today, we can't overhype them just yet. That said, Astralis have pretty much gone through the group now because they won on the B stream. They are now 3-0. They beat EFrag quite convincingly. I think it was 16-5 in that one as well. That was Mirage. So they're looking really, really good.
Yeah, I was sort of every once in a while glancing over, and that wasn't even a game. That was just Astralis doing exactly whatever they wanted. So pretty brutal. But you know, you gotta hope that they continue this form pretty much throughout the tournament. Because I mean, we've seen this before from them when they come in the tournament, and then once they hit semifinals, things get weird.
So that was against EFrag, right? So that means that they have Tempo Storm and they have FaZe left, right?
Yeah.
So
they
Astralis
have potential to go 5-0.
They have a real potential to go 5-0 actually.
I think they
really just, you know, stomp this group. It should be clear. The way should be paid for them. They should, you know, be able to beat Tempo Storm, even though Tempo Storm is making waves right now. I still think that Astralis, this kind of quality Astralis should be able to just, you know, manhandle both of these teams, secure that first seed, get into the semis. Now, though, what is really at risk, and I don't know if we have like
if we can bring up the scores,
we have the scores of the standings in the groups, but right now, what could be a real situation is a 3-way tie going into the second and third seeds of this group.
That seems very likely, doesn't it?
That can get really nasty really quick.
That was Group A.
That was Group A.
But here we go. So Group B. So like you're saying, so let's assume they do go 5-0, regardless, even if they go 4-1, they're through. The bigger threat is that we could actually have a 3-way tie still. If FaZe are able to take down Virtus Pro, that puts them at 1 and 2. Then they would have to play out against EFrag and Tempo Storm. They've yet to play those 2 games. Barring any upset, they go 3 and 2, right? That puts FaZe now at 3 wins. They still have to play against Envy. Let's say Envy now wins that. Suddenly they're at 2 and 2 and have a potential. I think they play EFrag as their. Either way, it's the bottom teams that come up last, right? So there's a chance that we're going to have a FaZe, Virtus Pro, and Team Envy 3-way tie.
I mean, whoever hasn't played against EFrag, and I know this is rough, but EFrag really are, you know, like the bottom team in this group, and there's such a huge gap separating them even from FaZe. And I mean, Tempo maybe, you know, comparable, but still, it's like EFrag should be a +1 for any of these teams if they run into them. So, you know, you should be able to see, you know, VP go up 2-1 guaranteed. Then it just comes down to like who's facing who, and yeah, we could have a real like mix-up in this Group B here. So we could have a long day ahead of us, guys.
And when I said Envy versus FaZe, I meant Envy now plays EFrag and Tempo Storm was the other team I was thinking.
Right.
So they would go 3 and 2, right?
Exactly.
Like,
they should get 3 and 2. If Envy do not get 3 and 2 in this sort of situation, I mean, yes, NBK was trying to play it down there, but if Envy does not get 3 and 2, that's a catastrophe. That is.
Papa Semler going to be mad.
Oh yeah. Well, we're gonna have words, bro. I'm gonna pull away their red wine, take the baguettes. Like they're not gonna have anything left, man.
I'll take the red wine if you're gonna pull it away from them, but they can keep the baguettes. But the big thing in this and all of this is that Tempo Storm did push push FaZe into overtime. They're still a threat to all these teams, so it's not like they can take those games lightly. We're assuming that they're going to win those. And I think you had a good quote about assuming earlier. I'm not going to make you repeat it because it was kind of cringe. But that said, guys, we're going to take another short break. And when we come back, we'll get ready to preview off into our next 2 games. Remember, there is also the B stream. We'll touch on that game a little bit as well. Don't forget as well, plays.tv to capture all of the highlights throughout the weekend. We'll see you in a minute.